Chris, if you want to start by telling us about your relationship with Prostate Cancer UK and why it's important to you.
Yeah, well, I've been an ambassador now for over 10 years. First got introduced to it when I was at Charlton as manager, and got close with someone who used to work at the club, Gary Haynes. He now works for Prostate Cancer, and he asked me if I would be an ambassador. So I was intrigued about something that's so serious and affects men only. That, you know, the more I learnt about it, I thought it was best that I got myself involved, and since then I've attended many events, ran the marathon. Will never do that again, but it raised awareness, it raised money, and you know, it's something that's close to my heart now.
It's fair to say that men have a tendency not to speak about these kind of things, but I guess it's important that football gets behind it for that reason. It's maybe a more welcoming outlet for men to speak about this kind of thing.
Well, football's a captive audience, you know, and traditionally, you know, it's attended by men. Obviously, you know, we have women and children coming to the games more and more now, which is great, but it's a captive audience where actually you can put out messages, and even they don't mean to see it, but actually if it's in the programme or if someone's talking about it, you sort of take notice of it. All I've ever said is, if it helps one person, just one, I and Prostate Cancer UK have done their job. But of course, what we all want is people to be aware of what's needed, you know, to go online, to maybe speak to someone, do the risk checker, speak to your GP, or actually for you to tell someone you know. You know, that could be, you know, we're talking about a female supporter or someone who works for Sheffield Wednesday, that actually tell your partner, tell your brother, tell your uncle, your dad, your granddad, because men traditionally don't talk about it. It's a bigger killer than breast cancer, but again, we seem to know more about that. So it's now about trying to educate people. You know, I want to affect not only the football club, but the city of Sheffield, Yorkshire, that people just talk about it, and actually, if they recognise some of the symptoms, to just go and ask. It doesn't mean that you're suffering from it, but actually it's just about, you know, eliminating what could potentially happen. Now, the best thing about it is if you catch it early enough, it can be treated, you know, and that's I think that's the message as well, that yeah, we're all scared. We don't want to hear that word, but we know it affects people. You know, it affects 1 in 8 men, affects 1 in 4 black men, which again was something that, you know, really shocked me. Don't know why. So actually it's something that, you know, I think we should all be aware of as we get older. You know, I'm not just talking to men 45, 50 onwards, because that is the majority of men that are affected by it, the age. But actually there are incidents that happen with younger men. So I think the more we're aware of it, the better. And you know, I just felt, especially in light of the news with the King going to be checked, and he has an enlarged prostate, so it's not cancer, but obviously now it's made him aware that they actually found something else, you know, and I think that's the message. You know, get checked, you may be fine, you know, have a PSA check, blood test, you can have another check, which a lot of people are frightened of, but you know, for 2 seconds of your life, in your day, you could save your life. You know, and I think when you look at that, it's something I do every year on my birthday as a present to me, that I get checked to make sure that I'm okay. And it's just something I think you have to keep an eye on, you know, for a long time.
We know in your role as an ambassador that you've got quite a personal story about this as well, if you don't mind sharing that with us.
Yeah, well, I've got to say, I think it's, I get quite emotional and quite soppy sometimes, but when I was manager at Southend, a supporter looked online to see if we had signed anyone, and he saw me running, and it was an article about me preparing to run in the 2019 marathon, or 2018. I want to forget, to be honest, but it was the hottest one on record. But he looked online and saw me talking about prostate cancer and about how it affects men, and to get yourself checked and speak to someone. And I actually spoke about some of the symptoms, and he said to himself, I'm suffering from that a little bit. So he got checked out, and they found that he was suffering eventually after all his checks. But again, similar to the King, they found that he actually had cancer elsewhere. And they said if he never came in, he wouldn't have seen his grandkids in 6 months' time. I met him again last year, spent a day with him and his wife at Spurs. And when I was working there, we had lunch. He told me he's travelling everywhere now and he's enjoying life. And it always touches me because he, believe it or not, he says he's got a picture of me on his desk. I mean, I don't know why he wants to look at that every day, but it's a reminder that without me, he wouldn't be here. You know, and that always touches me, always. And I think that's my message now to anyone watching this, listening to this, is you could actually do yourself, but someone you love, a favour by helping them and making them aware. And I think that's the best thing I've ever done. You know, regardless of what I've done in my life, in my career, and I've done some marvellous, great things. I think that there is one of the best things I've ever done.
When you've got a story that's so personal to you like that, I guess that serves as all the motivation that you need to continue being proactive and getting the lads involved like you have this week.
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken about it as staff. I put some posters up at the entrance. I put it up in the restaurant area, and I'll continue to put them around. I'm giving out badges because people always see this on Sky and talk about it, and I just felt I've got an opportunity here to affect people that I work with and see on a daily basis that, you know, it just might help one person, you know, and it just might help one of our players to sell someone that they like and love, and it might just help them help save their life. So you can live with it. You know, I know people that are living with it. It's not easy, but it's something that I think we should all be aware of and continue to keep, you know, hammering home the message that it's here to stay, unfortunately, but we can help one another with positive messages, doing something positive. Go online, go on the website. If you're unsure, just type in Prostate Cancer UK. Brilliant people. I've met them a few times. I've been down there in London, and they will help you. And that's, you know, my message today is I just want to help others, and, you know, for them to help other people as well.